Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience. I am Tiffany Kieran. I'm the Director of Production and the Executive Producer for Games for Change Festival. In the heart-pounding world of competitive gaming, 8 extraordinary players rise above. I had the opportunity to attend the premiere of Quad Gods at the Tribeca Film Festival earlier this month. It's an extraordinary film and a very, very inspiring story. We now have the pleasure to hear from the Quad Gods themselves, Richard Jacobs, Blake Hunt, Sergio Acevedo, and along with the film's director, Jess, Jacklin. They will share more about their journey from obscurity to esports stardom.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. Hi, everyone. I'm Jess Jacklin, director of the documentary film Quad Gods. Soon I'll bring out Richard and Blake and Sergio so you can meet them as well. So just a little context, over a decade ago, I was seeking help for some chronic pain issues that I have when I met a brilliant doctor at Mount Sinai, David Petrino. He told me about some VR therapy that he was using to treat chronic pain by helping rewire receptors in the brain. At that time, I was in and out of the lab a lot, and I got involved with the community that was budding around Sinai. And one of those fateful days I happened to be there with the early members of who we now know as the Quad Gods. They were all hanging out the lab, and there was a lot of buzz about them starting an esports team. They graciously opened up their lives and welcomed me into their most personal moments to tell their story. So that was 2018, and now 7 years later, we have a film that chronicles the journey. Quad Gods follows the world's first totally quadriplegic esports team, utilizing adaptive devices to help them access gaming technology. The Quad Gods quickly became fierce competitors while forming a close bond of friendship and support. But gaming is more than just a hobby for them. It's actually part of cutting-edge neurological rehab that helps engage the brain in new ways as part of their recovery. The film will premiere on HBO Max on July 10th, so be on the lookout. And now I will just show you the trailer that just dropped yesterday. And after that, I will show you one scene from the film that highlights some of that VR therapy I was talking about.
Esports competition is huge. $1 billion industry with millions of players.
Come on, you're stronger than that.
I will play a game from the night to the morning.
Oh, I got up.
I will keep playing that game until I win.
You walk from point A to point B. I roll from point A to point B. It doesn't make me any less of a person.
When we're trying to help someone recover from neurological injury, you need thousands of repetitions of movements.
We put together an esports team.
Logitech is announcing the first adaptive esports tournament.
We gotta put the work in for that.
When you come so close to death, it'll make you look at life and time totally differently.
In my dream, I'm walking. That means that I'm not giving up. The biggest misconception that people have is that we're fragile. I lost one identity, and the real me came out. It was a rebirth because I have become the person I was meant to be.
Thank you. Thank you. We're really excited. It's been such a journey to getting this film onto the big screen. And just a little preview, the next scene I'll show is, just to set it up, the Quad Gods are hanging out and they're talking about some of the neuropathic pain that they experience. They're sort of describing their pain, and that segues into a scene where you see Blake, who's one of the Quad Gods, using VR. And in VR therapy, he's looking at legs that are on a beach and moving around and using that simulation in order to help help with his pain. And so I won't say more. I'll just let you watch it. You can see.
Oh, shit.
I'm telling you, I need, because my spasms go crazy, I need it, bro.
I know they give it for pain, but...
They do give it for spasms.
Yeah, really? Well, shit, sign me up.
Neuropathy.
Neuropathy.
Yeah, nerve pain.
How do you describe that pain? Is it sharp?
Burning, sharp,
burning,
Burning pain.
tingling.
I'm gonna say
Burning, tingling sensation that just doesn't relent. Like between my toes, it feels like somebody has a lighter and is just holding it there.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so now I want you to look down at your legs and just imagine that they're your legs. And imagine that your legs moving, that you have control of these legs.
Water definitely helps when it comes to like nerve pain. Like after you're staring at it for a while, it becomes less about like those legs aren't mine and more about me trying to move it. So like you'll get like lost in a trance.
Go.
Thing is heavy.
How's your pain doing?
Better? Oh, yeah, like a 3. That's all
Good.
good. Yeah.
All right, 9 to 3.
A lot better for today. Yeah, like much
In a
more
half an hour, that's pretty good.
A lot more manageable anyway.
Good.
Until
Good,
further
good.
notice.
And that's what we're, that's what we're trying to do, is help you manage that pain, bring it down.
I've had pain attacks that have distorted my hearing, to making everything look blurry around me. For me, the VR gets a mind-body thing. So if you can get your brain to realize that there's no actual pain there, it goes away, which I think that's why it helps me so much. Because as I'm trying to do those movements and things, my brain is like, okay, well, there's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? So it gets rid of my nerve pain. I used to be on Percocets for a while, then I got addicted to those. I don't want to rely on opioids to feel better.
Okay, great. And now I will bring out the quad gods. So welcome Richard, Jacobs, Blake Todd, Sergio Acevedo. Okay, you can go right next to me.
Everybody, how's everybody doing? How y'all doing?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I'll come sit over here. Okay. So, we made a movie.
Right, it's crazy.
Whatever.
So I just want to ask you guys some questions, get you talking a little bit about yourselves, and then I'd love for the audience, if you guys have some things you want to ask the quad gods or questions for us, for you to be able to do that at the end. Why don't we start with you guys just tell the audience a little bit about how the team got started.
The team got started, I guess, the way I would see it. We all went through our, situations as far as our injuries. Each one of us have different situations as far as how we was injured and at the level, like certain level of injury. So we all came together in a place called the Ark at Mount Sinai Hospital. Well, I got introduced to the Ark through somebody named Dr. Ricabono. Angela Riccobono. She run this transitions group at Mount Sinai Hospital, and it helps to transition people from, inpatient, like back into the community, like coming from out of, dealing with your tragedy or whatever, to go back to the community. So I started to go to the transitions groups, and she told me about a group that was being put together that it was basically a group of guys that was gamers, not just guys, but a group of people that was gamers. And she found out that I was interested in gaming. So that's how I got introduced to the group.
Excuse me, sorry. Me personally, the part that you guys were watching where I'm doing like the nerve pain, I actually go to the ARC regularly because like I said, I got addicted to Percocets. Penny Marshall helped me get off of them. So for that, I kind of got an email from a friend of mine, and he was like, "Oh, they're having like tryouts for an esports gaming because everybody's got used to me playing video games and watching me." So that's how I got introduced to it personally. So from there, it kind of just blossomed into something really beautiful for us. Most of us are like brothers. We all known each other for years. This is just something that turned into something beautiful, I would say.
How about you, sir?
Well, the same was, I got the email too from Angela Riccobono. And it was out there, and I was like, I can't wait to just go and find people that were into doing something that's way out of my league. So it was a big meeting of like 10, 15 people that showed up for the email, all in this little tiny lab where we met David, Patrono, the doctor, and we met a whole bunch of other quadriplegics that were just to do something that was out of their realms, I guess.
Sergio, you had never gamed before, really, right?
I never gamed before. What I had was like sticks. So I would have a stick to write with, a stick to use a computer with, a stick to like do my art with. So it was just sticks for me. Mm-hmm. When I went to the lab, and I was like, wow. I met Chris Scott. He was using a quad stick, and I was like a sipping chin control. And I was like, I'm into that. I definitely want to get into it. Because I didn't realize how big internet and computer things were. I was just not into that. I didn't know about it. So it definitely opened a lot of doors for me, especially being I have no functions of my arms. So it's like, there's a good challenge for people that are in technology and somebody for me to at least open a door.
Yeah. Let's talk about how you guys are gaming too, just for the audience. Like, what controllers are you using? Because you all use different controllers.
So just for anybody in the audience that might not know exactly what it was that he was talking about when he said he used a quad stick is basically a specialized controller for somebody that's paralyzed from the neck down because they can't use their hands or their arms or anything like that. So it's basically a controller that's connected to like a rod, and you put it in your mouth. It have 3 different like blowholes on it where you can either blow into it or you sip on it like a straw. So each one of those, like if you blow on it, it might perform the function of the A button. Or if you sip on it like a straw, it might perform the function of the X button. Or, you might blow on the one that's all the way to the far right. Each one is a different button. Each performance or each motion that you do is a different button. So that's how he get a chance to play the game, because without it, he wouldn't be able to. And for me, personally, myself, I use something called the Astro C40. Now, the Astro C40 is close to a conventional controller. It's close to it. But because of the fact that I don't have 100% use to my hands and my fingers, the controller is specialized to where it's extremely sensitive, to where I don't have to use as much finger strength to get the button pressed or to, move to the left or move to the right. Also, I could customize it to where I could move one button from one place and put it somewhere else that might make it a little bit more comfortable for my hands to use it. So at this moment right now, that controller is the one that I generally use right now. But other than that, I would have to use the Microsoft Adaptive Controller, which is like, it looks like a big Nintendo controller, like the first Nintendo from back in the days that only had 2 buttons on it. So it looked like a really big version of that, but it have all these extra peripheral buttons that you could connect to it. And you could basically place those buttons wherever you see fit that could work for you. So let's say, my arm is strong and I could press the buttons with my elbow here. So I could actually place one here and that could be a button for me that I'll press here. Or in Sergio's case, you see he got the head mount there.
I'm not pressing any buttons.
Well, come on, we know that. In Sergio's case, you see how his head mount is. So he can actually use his head to press the buttons if he wanted to. But as you can see, he ain't trying to press no buttons. So I'll leave that up to him.
I use a combination of the Xbox Adaptive along with the Warfighter joystick, depending on what games I'm playing. Like if we're playing Rocket League, it's normally the Xbox Adaptive Controller with the Warfighter joystick. If for whatever reason I'm playing like a first-person shooter or something, it's normally keyboard and mouse. I use a TKL keyboard just so I can keep all my keys to one side of the keyboard. So that's predominantly what I use. Xbox the adaptive controller is great for the fact of, like Richard said, if you can combine them with other keys, and you can have all your keys literally mounted anywhere you want them. It's almost like the equivalent of what they do with adaptive driving, when you can put a signal on your door arrest or something like that, so you can signal left or right. But that's predominantly what I'm using right now.
Here. I'm wondering if you can just talk a little bit about less the technical side, but also just what does gaming mean to you and the team mean to you? Like what it's been the benefit, big picture here.
For me, the team for me means, having, it's like a sense of belonging, right? So for me personally, when I went through my injury, before my injury, everything that I did, I was such a physical person. Like I used to work for Dish Network, putting up satellite TV installation. And from there, I was working Con Edison. So everything that I did throughout my whole life was physical, hands-on work. So after my injury, that part of me, I kind of lost it in the beginning. And mentally, I guess it was just a mental thing that I had lost it, because it took me some time to realize that there are things that I used to do that I still can do, but I would just have to find a different way to do it. So in the beginning, it was just the fact that it was just all gone. That's how I saw it. So that devastated me. I'm not even gonna lie, I was in a really deep depression, and being introduced to the team and coming into the room, I remember the first day I came into the room and I saw everybody else there. Immediately when I came into the room, I felt as if I'm finally amongst people that could understand what I might be dealing with. They feel how I might feel. So being a part of the team, for me personally, I could say is almost like a lifesaver.
Oh, sorry, just didn't want to cut you off. Yeah, gaming for me, it kind of, because I got hurt at a young age, so I took chess as a way to take my anger out on people, because I was very much a sports person. I got hurt playing football, so for me, it was one of those ways of channeling, my frustration because I couldn't really play video games anymore, and that's kind of like what I grew up on. So when we started the team, like I said, we all knew each other before we went on the team, but it became much more, like we're a lot closer now than we probably were before. More so because now we actually are always together all the time. Like we're always talking about something. We're like brothers and sisters, like they get on your nerves sometimes, but you still love them. So like Richard said, it definitely, gaming for me actually like kept me from wanting to kill myself, I would say, because being a jock is kind of a hard thing to go from being able to take care of yourself to not being able to do anything. So I definitely think like it helped me out a lot, and I'm appreciative. Fortunately, one of our teammates isn't here, and without him, none of this would be possible. But yeah, I think gaming for everybody, if you use it in the right way, it can save your life. So without this team, I'd probably be doing something crazy.
And Sergio, before Sergio gives his answer, I just want to point out that he created the Quad Gods logo. He's also an artist. And so he painted this logo, you can tell them, with your mouth stick. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, the logo was just, I drew a bunch of logos. It wasn't just this one. It was like a circle. I didn't know how to. So I just kept looking through a whole bunch of logos. I kept asking these guys, what do you want on it? What do you think we should do? Right? And the wings came out, the shield came out. It's just things. It just popped. It's like, that's it. I think we got something. And then I just asked these guys, what do you want it? Like, can you make it say Quad Gods on it? Can you, we don't want to put. Somebody wanted to put a wheelchair on it. I don't want to put a wheelchair on it. I want somebody to like walk around with the Quad Gods. And they look at them like, oh man, it's a bunch of dudes playing adaptive sports, but on the computer. And I was like, I think that was surprising. The wings we just added on for Chris Scott, who passed away. It was one of our founding members that was there that sent the email out. I think he had part of it, sending out that email. And the pay tribute to Chris was putting on the wings, and to pay tribute to us who were like, we know that you're hurt. You come to the Quad Gods, we're going to protect you with a shield. And I don't know, it just, how do I guess you guys see it? I don't know what you see. When you see it, I don't know like that. So,
well, the one thing I will say, individually, we all are great. Like Sergio is a painter in his mouth, so is Nairi. She is our only current female member, and they're both amazing artists. Like we have one of our teammates likes to cook, so so we all do stuff individually. It makes us great, but together, we allow that to shine through. So, and I think our message overall is just, we want to show people that although we're disabled, we're able to do amazing things. And because there are a lot of disabled people out there that are just as amazing as the rest of us, and they don't have the platform that we have. And it's, our job to really show, like, just because you're disabled, that doesn't mean you can't do things that you want to do.
That's great. I'm going to open it up to the audience. Does anyone have questions for them? We have about 20 minutes, or I can keep asking questions.
Okay.
Wait.
Thank you for sharing everything that you have. I know, obviously, it's hitting you all as you share this today in different ways. I loved hearing about how you shared about how your life has kind of changed with this as far as your group and everything. Outside of gaming, outside of the brotherhood and the single sisterhood that you have with the people in the Quad Gods. How has your life changed just from being a member of a group like this, outside of like just the people, like that immediate Quad God circle?
Well, for me, sorry, I didn't mean it. No, go. Well, for me, I get to do things that I actually like to do, which is like helping people who are not in a position to get certain things, to do certain things for themselves. I'm very much into like, I was always into like feeding the homeless and things like that growing up. So now I get to give back to our community because that's what's important to me. I find that to be very rewarding outside of gaming personally. So in a weird way, I take more pleasure out of that than I actually do out of gaming right now at this point. That's just me personally.
As far as I go, my life being, after my injury and me and the team, my life changed because, or I would say that it kind of gave me a sense of like significance again. Like I felt as if, after my injury where, excuse me, that I wasn't, like, I didn't have no significance as before my injury. Like, I'm the oldest member of my family, so I was the provider, and after my injury, all of that, I felt like I didn't have that sense no more, that I wasn't able to do that. So, excuse me. When I met the team, and we all came together to do things and try to make things happen, and there were certain aspects of the team and things that was going on where it kind of showed me that, I still was able to do certain things and make certain things happen. And it showed me that I was still significant in this work.
Oops. And you've been more recently they're doing outreach work at the hospital. So we've been meeting with people that are in that transitional stage and finding and identifying people that are really into gaming and then helping them get controllers. So you guys can talk about that a little bit. Like, it's really...
So one of our newer members, his name is Andy. He's just one of many young kids or young men. He's a young man, sorry, that we've helped up until this point. When he first got hurt, when you first get hurt, everything seems real minuscule compared to like what you're gonna be going through, because everything is so controlled. You're in a controlled environment when you're at Mount Sinai, because everything is structured in a way in which you feel safe. So then when, it's time for you to go home into the community, that's when you really learn a lot about yourself. But Andy, he got gaming equipment. We got it for him, and he has been playing games since. He's another high-level injury like Sergio. Yeah. And he just placed second place in one of the tournaments that was just held.
Grand finals.
Yeah, so we're helping as many people as we can. I just helped one of my brothers who I was in a nursing home with for like 5 years. He was another one I used to like do everything with like a stick and like a keyboard. So I finally helped him get like a quad stick. And like the other day, he called me like, "Oh my God, like I can't get off 2K." I'm like, so I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's great." He's like, "Yeah, my home attendant's been taking my quad stick away." So like it's just it's stuff like that, which has been very rewarding, and we just started doing it more. I think we're going to be working with NYU at some point. We're currently working with Mount Sinai right now exclusively, but...
And Bellevue Hospital just got added to the list too.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So, I think hopefully by the time it's all said and done, we can get gaming into these schools and like keep the children entertained and give them something positive to look forward to, as opposed to being out in the streets. Because I was in Atlanta, and that was one of their main points when I was out there, is that they're putting gaming into the school curriculums for the young children. So if we can get that in New York City, I think it'll be amazing. So, not only for able-bodied children, but for the disabled children out there that don't feel like they can compete physically with able-bodied children, because gaming is the one field where we're all leveled, and we are the standing testament to that, because we really, really kick ass.
Sergio, how about for you?
Oh man, it's so wonderful to like see people that are out there, and I'm able to communicate with them through a quad stick and through gaming. I'm playing with my nephew that I never thought I'd be able to like play. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm stuck in a wheelchair. How can I play with you? And I was like, this gaming and computers just opened up a whole new world for me. It's like I can look at art in a whole different way, like different views of it. And it's like, I don't know, it opens so many doors for me. I'm just excited to see what else can we bring to the table, and who's gonna join this bandwagon, man. I can't wait to like everyone have a Quad God shirt. Big billboard everywhere.
Oh God, please, no billboard.
All over the world. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
It's great.
A subtle plug for their merch. Their merch is on sale now, so you can go buy all the Quad God stuff if you want.
Get a shirt, man. I'm excited what technology is going to bring for, especially like a high-level quad like me really doesn't have much mess around with except sticks. I'm like, like I'm saying, I taught myself how to spell my name with the stick, and that's all I really had to like forget that I'm in this chair and I gotta deal with stuff that doesn't come in the regular world anymore. So to know that technology is here and I'm able to interact and be part of something that you never thought the person on the other screen is doing, or is like, wow, this person's laying down and actually working with, using an eye tracker or a sipping puff or, something, some kind of technology that's going to be able to, for everybody to use, no matter what.
Yeah.
How messed up in the region for us.
It was, believe it or not, hopefully I didn't cut you off, Sergio. Believe it or not, I just want to, first of all, apologize for getting emotional, right? But it's just, thank you. It just, I guess that would show y'all just how much this means to me. I literally was in my bathroom for like 15 minutes looking in the mirror, telling myself I wasn't going to do that. Like, all right, we ain't going to do it, not today. We gonna hold them all in until we leave the building. You see, obviously it didn't work. So whenever I think about the team and, how much they mean to me and how much all this have done for me, see, it's happening again. So, it just shows you how much this really means to me.
Got your back, Richard. Get some statues.
Like, I am not running that.
Are there any other questions? We have like 10-ish minutes if anybody else wanted to.
Yeah, sure. I think that, is this working? Yeah. Effective, accessible pain management through VR is something that I'm surprised not more people are talking about. And in VR content creation, one thing we don't like to talk about is the so-called legs problem, where if I have the use of my legs and I look down, I generally don't see them because it's just too hard with most equipment. to get that working properly. And so to see you invert that, it really opens up a whole new realm of interest. And I guess my question is, when you're having casual conversation with friends, family, people on the street, and you talk about this whole new vista of opportunity for moving us forward collectively, evolutionary, that the response I usually get is like, that's kind of interesting, but then nothing comes of it. So I'm always looking for these kinds of opportunities where we're doing something, and so then the question is, what's next? Do you get interest from other people saying like, oh, how can I help, or where can I find some, where can I go get that?
Well, I was actually, it's funny that you would ask that. I was actually asked to be a part of a panel where they're going to be diving into the whole nerve pain because of my journey from being addicted to Percocets to other ways of pain management. I'm at a point now where I do something which is called tracking, where I'm like right now I'm physically in pain, right? I can feel it. My body's responding to it, but I've learned to track to the point where I can get it under control, where I'm not having chain attacks. Really, tracking is just understanding that the pain that you're in is not real. And when you start to pay attention to it, it actually goes away. Because what happens with most nerve pain is that you try to ignore it, right? And it intensifies because it wants to be heard. So then you take pills, the pills dumb down, your nerve endings for a little while, but then what happens? Like a baby, it comes back. So I've learned to to ignore it. Or if it gets to a point where I can't ignore it, to track it. And tracking is what helps it go away. I've learned all of that through Mount Sinai though, because I'm at a point now where I could tell you what causes my nerve pain, how to make water sounds make my nerve pain go away for a while. So I'm I guess you could say a new nerve pain, but I'm waiting to hear back because I know that was a thing, and I think it's from, I can't remember what state it was, but it's on the West Coast. So I'm gonna be one of the panel members of that at some point. So hopefully I can help them, figure out a way to help other people with nerve pain.
Keep going.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wanted to ask questions? The audience? Leon? I can't tell if there's students. Okay. Well, I guess I just...
Oh, no, she was...
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see it. Go ahead.
Hi to everybody. Hello to everybody in the room. And thank you so much for sharing your stories. I work with Twice Exceptional community, and I was wondering if you all know about the Twice Exceptional community and what that means.
No.
So I think there's probably a lot in your community as well. Research-wise, the Twice Exceptional community means that we have a high IQ and also a learning challenge.
Really?
And so I think that what you all are doing is really special for us, and I'd love to talk to you about it.
Oh, definitely.
And for everyone else here, please look into it as well.
Say Twice Exceptional community?
The Twice Exceptional community, it's generally, a lot of times people will only see the negative and the learning challenge that they have or the physical challenge that they have, and their highs aren't shown to them. So they tend to have some low self-esteem and stuff. And in the school system, we're generally teaching to the middle of the road. So if you sit on either end, you really don't get serviced.
And
immersive technology, I think, is going to be one of the big answers to our community. And I think you all are doing it already.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. I think they were implementing dancing for that because, okay, I really didn't want to have to say this, but I do tap dancing. So it's adaptive, where I'm working with coordinated dancing with Rockettes, Farmer, and Current. So my gloves are adaptive, but they're gonna be putting dancing into the schools also. And I was actually talking to a couple of people about ways to make it more immersive for people that are disabled. So New York is going in the right direction. They're trying to make everything all inclusive, which I think is important. So it's only a matter of time before we can get to a point where everybody's actively participating or doing something that they actually like.
Yeah, there's a philosopher, Dabrowski, that has a theory called positive disintegration, where our community definitely takes one step back in our life to take 2 steps forward, which I think will be very relevant to your group as well.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Was there anyone else? I had one last question for them, if not.
What do you guys play?
Here we go.
I actually play a whole range of games. I'm an all-around gamer. I've been playing games since I was like 5 years old. Regular Nintendo, 8-bit, Super Mario, little dot for a head. So like I play all different types of games. I play Rocket League, Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid, Fall Guys. There's a bunch of different things that I play. As far as tournament, like competitive games, I really participate in the Rocket League tournaments. Like each one of us specializes something different.
I currently, when I'm not beating on my nephew, I currently do a lot of Call of Duty Mobile right now when I'm not playing like Fortnite or whatever, or training or playing tournaments in Rocket League, because I've become exceptionally good at Call of Duty Mobile. So that's my game of choice. But if I'm just playing for fun, it's normally like Mario Kart or something like that. Because that's the only game my nephew wants to challenge me in.
For me, I don't know. I guess after that film, definitely gonna do a lot more practicing in Rocket League.
Oh God, are you like FIFA too though?
Yeah, I need redemption, right?
Yes, Sergio's a big FIFA player.
And play Fortnite, Call of Duty, anything to get out there, I guess.
Yeah, Richard and Sergio were teammates in the semifinals for an adaptive Rocket League tournament. So that's in the film. They made it to the semifinals.
Yeah, that was a proud moment right there. Yeah, that was definitely a proud moment. Even stuff like that, even those small accomplishments, like even though it's just a video game, just the winning and being able to get to a certain level and even be able to just play the game at all, period. When you was at a point where you couldn't do it at all, there's anything that you really couldn't do, the more you learn and the more you get to do, the more accomplished you feel, which kind of helps to raise your self-esteem and your confidence in yourself, which also gives you the ability, to be able to go back into the world. Because without that self-esteem and that confidence, it will lead you to isolation. You won't go back out. You will stay indoors. You'll always seem inferior. You won't want to be around people that you consider to be normal. So it's important to be able to find a group of people, or not even just a group of people, but anybody that could, keep you from falling into that space.
Support is important. We have a strong support group anyway. We got everyone from the quad mother to the quad father to Jess, Charles. Like we're all very like tight knit, but it's just like with any family though, you need like a strong support system. So, and that's kind of our motto. So, once you guys see the documentary, you'll just see what we're saying. Like, we are dark humored a lot. So if you feel like you want to laugh, just go ahead. Because trust me, we were laughing when we were doing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we're it's just that's just how we are.
Yeah, so everyone please check out the film. It'll be at 9 p.m. on July 10th. It's going live on Max and on HBO. And we're all going to be around. So if you guys want to come up, we encourage you to hang out and ask questions and get to know these guys. They're amazing.
Yeah. There was one other thing, like when he was saying about, you know, us all being one big family now, that's exactly true. Like, even through disagreements or whatever, you know, we come together so tight from everything that we went through, you know, like we seen each other go through painful times, go through happy times, you know, have to, you know, wish each other well. Somebody might end up in the hospital and now we all worried about that person. So it really have become like a really tight-knit family. Like, I just got a bunch of brothers from a bunch of different mothers now. So, you know what I mean? It's always a good look.
Appreciate you guys for having us today.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all too.
Thank you, John.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
It's